crime spree right behind me.
Let him do that, strange.
Vice Mayor Strange, you'll address her properly.
You can kiss my foot.
Mr. Rickard, you're out of order.
FBI, we are asking you to investigate this council. Please look into this council, how they award contracts, the bid process, how they use their positions to benefit their friends and themselves, how they use their positions to attack residents and critics and neighbors and business competition. FBI, will you please look into this?
And I welcome the FBI here. If you notice, Mr. Thompson with his plea for the FBI and his watchdog group, this city runs the cleanest in this whole county. I guarantee
He was served a federal subpoena this morning.
We did receive a subpoena this morning, and we're going to cooperate 100% with the subpoena.
And most of you who were involved up here, you gaslighted me. You tried to say I was crazy. And now we know that that's not true. And there's a lot of other issues I've been asking about as well.
Last night's city council meeting was quite something. There's always a big secret, when you go to these meetings. Cole Son Davis, the city attorney, he tried to sneak something by, and I'm going to show you that. But also, I asked about Vice Mayor Geoff McConnell, whose term has expired and who will be, who's running again for office. Yeah, he ran as a businessman, but as you know, he's lost or he's dissolved his businesses. He doesn't have any businesses. He ran as a businessman, no businesses. And I brought it up at the meeting. What I'm going to do tonight is just really show you the two times that I went up there and talked to them. And we'll talk a little bit about their reactions. Tell me what you think about their reactions. And let's jump right into it. This was at last night's city council meeting. Frank and Molly, thank you for going to the meeting. It was great seeing a couple of other people there. And all right, let's get right to this. I don't have a whole lot to say other than we can comment on what happened last night. It was crazy. It really is so weird, when I go up there. So let's go with this one first. I think this is the first time that I went up. You were informed that the same guy, Cliff Nauer, Mr. Charmer, sent an email to a lady who lives in Lowwater saying he was going to effing bury her in the effing Gulf. Do you not have a moral turpitude clause? Hello, I'm Bernie Thompson. I want to ask you a question about why do you continue to award stormwater contracts to Dewberry when you know full well that the partner at Dewberry, Cliff Nauer, is the boyfriend of your project manager, Kelly Jenkins? Why do you keep doing that when you know there's that conflict of interest? And by the way, you were informed that the same guy, Cliff Nauer, Mr. Charmer, sent an email to a lady who lives in Lowwater saying he was going to effing bury her in the effing Gulf. Do you not have a moral turpitude clause or anything like that? None of you are concerned about that. Number two, I'm also concerned about the professional reputations of your staff. This is a very big deal because you throw them under the bus. Yesterday, I filed an official complaint with the state because the city was engaged in unlicensed activity when it built Popeye Park. And you know this. I got a public record from the clerk of the city who says there are no documents pursuant to the permits pulled by the city to build the pole barn at Popeye Park. That's illegal, and you know it's illegal. Also, you did not get an electrical contractor before the city connected electricity with Gulf Power. Does that not concern you, Vice Mayor McConnell? You're looking at me. It looked like you might have
thoughts on that? Well, you're going to have to answer it at some point, maybe not to me, but soon. My third concern is about Mr. Businessman, who doesn't have any businesses anymore, Vice Mayor McConnell. About Mr. Businessman, who doesn't have any businesses anymore, Vice Mayor McConnell. Now, I understand that you are the senior manager for the project technology for a company in Virginia called Paraton. I'd like to know where he works, what he does. Where does he get that?
That doesn't pertain to city business.
That's fair enough. I'll concede that.
Thank you, sir.
I'll concede that.
Thank you, sir.
Number four,
I want to point out what just happened, okay? I'm gonna play that part back, but I want you to watch this. If you were a city council member and you were running for re-election and somebody asked, what's your job? You got he's a senior manager. Now he's a technology expert or something. He was a government contractor. And now he's a senior manager. You ready for this? For some technology project or something. Senior manager of technology for a business in Virginia called Paraton. So when I ask about it, you saw what he did. When I asked about it, he freaks out and he tells the mayor, shut him up, shut him up. Is that not suspicious? Why the hell is there a big secret about his job? It's always a big secret. Hey, Geoff, what about the company Orion Services, LLC, that you opened up with County Commissioner Doug Moore? It was a big secret 2 years ago. And what about the other one, Orion JD3? What about your company you opened with a county commissioner, a government contracting company? And again, that was a big secret. Now they're both out of business, those two companies. They're dissolved. And now Geoff works in Virginia with Paraton, and he's the senior manager of technology. Does that not seem shady? Now, if he had said, yeah, Bernie, this is what I do. I'm a senior manager, worked my way up, studied the craft, and here's my job, dude. What's your problem? I would have been like, dang, he just got me pretty good. You know, but no, it's a big secret with Geoff all the time. Hey, law enforcement, this is called I'm searching for a word. I'm thinking of a word, a clue. This is a clue. The vice mayor is shady, is what I'm saying. Watch this again.
At some point, maybe not to me, but soon. My third concern is about Mr. Businessman, who doesn't have any businesses anymore, Vice Mayor McConnell. About Mr. Businessman, who doesn't have any businesses anymore, Vice Mayor McConnell. Now, I understand that you are the senior manager for the project technology for a company in Virginia called Paraton. I'd like to know where he works, what he does. Where does he get that? That doesn't pertain to city business. That's fair enough. I'll concede that.
Thank you, sir.
I'll concede that.
Thank you, sir.
Number four, the county, I just discovered through a forensic audit in a class action lawsuit, has lost $8.7 million that it cannot account for out of its building services fund. This fund you have as well. This is a fund that is funded by permit fees by contractors. And by law, it can only be spent by the city and by the county in the building department. I'd like to know, because I've been told that you're spending that money outside of the building department, which is illegal. Is that true? Mr. Mayor, are you spending money outside the building services fund, outside of the building department?
Thank you. Does anybody else have any public comments for this evening?
All right. I got it. Number one, two things. I see it. Number one, I'm getting better. Oh, pretty soon I'm going to be a pro at this. Number one, I already mentioned about McConnell. right? That is suspicious. Number two, hey, are you breaking the law? Are you taking money, like the county did, from the Builders Services Fund, which is loaded by the permit fees that the city charges to the contractors? All right, they can only spend it in the building department. So just got a question, are you guys spending that in other places? Did they deny it? They never, ever answered that question. That's called a clue. By the way, there was something else that happened last night that I don't have on video, but I want to tell you about it. My understanding is that the Tourist Development Council, the TDC, canceled at the last minute again. They were supposed to have a meeting, I believe, on Wednesday. The night before, they canceled. And the city council last night, that has two members on that board, Phil Chester and Paul Casto, the entire council tried to distance itself last night from the TDC. Remember, the TDC funds the mayor's private businesses $1.5 million a year so he can put on concerts. Our mayor is the concert promoter. The TDC funds the mayor's private companies. Two of the board members on the council are on the TDC, and they tried to distance themselves big time at last night's meeting. I can't wait to show you. It's so important. It has to do with the Gulf. It has to do with a restaurant they're going to build on the sand, on the beach at Pier Park, where they're going to discharge stormwater into the Gulf. And they're going to make a killing on it. And I think there are gigantic kickbacks for years to come to the members of this corrupt council. I'll tell you about it right after this.
Hand caught in the cookie jar? Sometimes bad habits continue even into adulthood. I'm El Saline, 850-215-0628. Let me help you.
It's a hot time in Florida, and my friend Ryan can make sure your air conditioning is running at peak efficiency. He could even install a new one, built to a higher standard, American standard. Find out more at pcairrepair.com. All right, let me show you the second time I went up there. They tried to sneak something by, okay? They're going to build a giant restaurant, and they tried to pass this by real quick by just, you'll hear how Cole Davis tries to sneak it through, all right? And I jumped up, and I said, hey, is this what I think it is? And it went like this.
Item 12 this evening is Resolution 22-103. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving an exclusive negotiating agreement for redevelopment of the Russell Fields Pier and Beachfront.
This item is available for public comment. Any public comment on item 12? Yes, sir.
Is this the deal to build on the beach side with Mr. Pender and Mr. Harrison? Is that what this is about?
This just gives us the right to negotiate with them. This is not to actually build it.
All right, so I just want to sort of make sure everybody knows what you're talking about. You're going to negotiate with a developer to build a giant restaurant on the pier side of Front Beach Road, right across from, what's that other restaurant there? Margaritaville, thank you. So this sounded pretty innocuous. I mean, y'all are going to you want to build a big building, Vice Mayor McConnell, right? A gigantic building on the beach side next to the pier where you plan to discharge stormwater next year, right? And I'll be at the meeting by myself tomorrow. I'll do what I can to put a stop to it for you. I'm in a mood tonight, I swear to God. I wasn't going to, babe, when I come home, I didn't plan to bring any booze, but I think the plans are changing. Flexibility is the key to air power. That's what I learned in the Air Force. I was just going to go, swear to God, I was going to go home tonight and drink green tea. Yeah, green tea has quercetin in it, and it's good for you. It helps you absorb, and
but I don't think that's happening tonight. So I'm in a mood. I got to gear up for tomorrow. So here's my question, because that didn't sound like this. That made it sound like it wasn't such a big deal. This is a big deal. You guys call it iconic, don't you? Right? Is that your word, iconic? Here's my question. Is it going to attract a lot of people to that restaurant or a few people? Probably a lot. Where are they going to park? Every one of you know this is a big concern. With that smirk on your face, Jeff, you know it's a big concern. You don't have enough parking. Every one of you knows that. What are you going to do about that? Right now, you don't have enough parking. People go to Pier Park. If people want to walk on the pier, there's not enough parking, is there? So if you bring in that many more people, where are they going to park? Do you have any ideas? I know this is a major concern of yours. You're going to have to come up with a solution, a legal solution for this. You're going to figure that out later or what? I just want to make this clear. All of you are looking at me with such disdain, but you're going to bring in a gigantic restaurant, build it on the beach next to the pier, bring in a whole bunch of people, call it iconic. Where are they going to park? You guys have denied people height incentives because they didn't have 2 more parking spaces. Is this a fair question or not? All right, thank you.
Does anybody else have a public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close that portion. Mr. Whitman, anything to add?
Yeah, this comes in a couple parts. The first part of this agreement is allowing Coastal Parasol Penders First Corporation to continue to operate the buildings out there until the end of the season. It also puts a time frame on the negotiations where they'd have to come back at Memorial Day with some kind of financial analysis of what it's going to do, and also the architect and design. During that, to answer some of Mr. Thompson's questions, the parking will have to be addressed. I know I can't speak for the corporations, but I know they are looking into that at several different locations. But I don't want to get into plans, but this will all be discussed. This also allows the city to walk away at any time if we don't think it's good for our residents and our public and our visitors. And it also gives the new group, Pender Group, they can walk away at any time. Right now, all the responsibilities on their side, they're the ones investing all the money, but they know they can walk away and we can walk away anytime. This gives us a 1-year negotiation. If it don't work out for either side, the pier stays like it is unless we put it back out.
Thank you, sir. Items up for board discussion.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any other discussion?
So, of course, it was Councilman McConnell who made the motion to approve, and Councilman Jarman who seconded the motion. Now, we think we figured out why they don't care about parking. There's already not enough parking at Pier Park if you want to go on the pier, so they're going to build a giant restaurant on the protected sand. How are they going to do the sewage? This is so crazy. Do you know that the St. Joe company, I hear, didn't even want to have anything to do with it? It was too controversial, but it wasn't too controversial for William Harrison, the local kingmaker, the former St. Joe lobbyist, big lawyer, and much more. I'm going to tell you why I don't think they care about the parking, because they have other plans. Anybody can guess what it is? I'll tell you right after this.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777. All right, so I'm looking at your comments. Oh, very interesting. Here's what I think it is. They don't want you in cars. All right. Remember, they've got the tram lanes for the CRA project. Look, they don't want cars. They want trams. right? They want to put you in trams. They want to completely change the tourist corridor along the water. And I think I think all of this works together, and I don't know exactly how all this works together, but I don't think they're worried about parking because they're not going to be cars. It's going to be, you have to use a tram to get in and out, all up and down there. That is my guess, and I don't know that for sure, but I don't see any other way. And I know they're pushing for the trams like crazy. Have they asked you what you think of the trams? Now, these are the most crooked people, the most deceitful, not just dishonest, deceitful people that you'll ever see. And if you ever sit in a meeting and watch their faces while I'm talking to them, it's unbelievable. I don't know how, because I don't know how they can sit there and not be embarrassed, right? If you're the kind of person who can lie in a room where everybody knows you're lying and you're not embarrassed at all, if you get caught in a lie and you're not embarrassed, I don't get that. Have I ever been caught in a lie in my life? Yeah, and I was embarrassed about it, right? But they sit up there and most of the staff knows they're lying, right? The staff knows they're lying. Their colleagues know they're lying. We know they're lying, but they keep doing it anyway. It's so weird. It's so strange. But you have to be a certain kind of person to be able to just lie without any compunction, without any shame or embarrassment. I agree with you, Jason. What do you say, babe? I'll tell you what she says, Lisa. First of all, I can throw a baseball and hit city limits. I have to pay taxes on the city. I live on the beach, but I don't live within city limits. So I'm not eligible to run for mayor, and I don't want that job. I ran 4 years ago and lost, and I was very embarrassed when I lost. But I'm so glad that I'm not up there because of all of the constraints. I mean, I would turn the place upside down and you wouldn't have to pay a dime for public record requests because I'd go get them for you, right? I'd be looking under every telephone, under every chair. I'd be looking around and I'd be bringing you with me. They're damn lucky I didn't win that election. But I wouldn't be able to do this too, right? And I think that we're making more of a difference, you and me, doing this than if I had won. So yeah, there's our answer. I don't want the job, right? What I want is for law enforcement and prosecutors to do their jobs. That's what I want. All right. And I also want to thank those of you who support my efforts. And you can do that if you are interested in supporting my work right here at patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. For $5 a month, you can be part of the team. It's sort of like a tip. It's easy. It's anonymous. Nobody can know that you're doing it, and you can quit at any time. Patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. It's a form of fundraising, and it keeps this show afloat along with those of you who sponsor the show, like the Unknown Patriot. Who remembers the Unknown comic from the Gong Show? Sock it to me, sock it to me, sock it to me. I missed that stuff. All right, I'm going to call it a night. I hope that you'll share the word. You know, the election is in April. All right, for Geoff McConnell and for Paul Casto. Now, Geoff McConnell, they both have a rival, and I say vote them both out. They both need to be voted out. Would you agree? But I hope that you'll spread the word. Vote no, especially on McConnell, because he's an utter and complete fraud, and he needs to go. All right, we had another one of those up there a while ago. I didn't agree with former Mayor Mike Pay-to-Play Thomas, but he wasn't a fraud. He was very authentic. Right? You just had to pay him to get what you wanted, that kind of thing. But Hector Solis was a complete and utter fraud. He sued me for defamation. So I used discovery and subpoena power, put him under oath, under deposition. It's on YouTube. And I proved to you that he was a fraud. That's the problem with suing people for defamation when you're the liar, right? It doesn't work out real well. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being with me, and I will